What's up guys, welcome back to CardSpot. My name is Ethan and it is time for YugiNews. It is the week of the 18th of December and this will be the last episode of YugiNews for this year. I'm going on a break over the Christmas and New Year period and I'll be back early next year, so don't you worry. I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers who says I'm going to be back and then disappears. So, kicking it off in news this week, we have a big product announcement for TCG. For the small price of one kidney, or thereabouts, you can be the proud owner of a set of stainless steel Egyptian god cards. These god cards feature the anime artwork and also kind of the anime effects slash descriptions, apart from Winged Dragon of Ra, which just kind of has hieroglyphs instead. They come in an acrylic display, but wait for it, they cost $399.99 USD. So I think the general consensus is that is way too much, but it is a really cool product. Honestly, if this was a fair bit cheaper, I would be considering it, but for $400 US, which works out to be like probably around 650 New Zealand dollars plus shipping, it's a no from me. What does help is that you do go in the draw for a sweepstakes to get one of 2,000 copies of a normal monster Blackluster Soldier, which is apparently going to be tournament legal. That's pretty cool and does kind of help contribute to the value a little bit, because if you do get one of those cards, that's probably going to be worth about as much as the price you've paid anyway. But you've got to be one of the lucky 2,000 to actually get it, and I would imagine there's going to be a fair few of these that sell to a lot of the kind of big whale collectors in the community. Overall, it's a cool product, but I think priced way too high, but I'd really be keen to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. Also in the TCG, we had YCS Bologna taken out by Joshua Schmidt with his Runick Bystial deck. I'll be covering off some of the rogue decks that top the event later on in the video and our deck list gallery. Kicking it over to OCG now, and we have a few more cards for their Promotion Pack 2024 that have been announced. Someone at Konami is making memes because we have a new Xyz monster called Quartet Wonky. Is a rank 4 Earth Beast, attack 0, defense 2600, requires 2+ level 4 monsters. It's unaffected by other cards' effects. If this card is Xyz summoned, or once per turn during your standby phase, attach the top 3 cards of your deck to this card as material, then apply the effect based on the number of monsters it has as material. 4 or less, give control of this card to your opponent. 5 or more, take 4,000 damage for each material currently attached to this card, and if you do, destroy all monsters you control. So, obviously, the way this card could work is you Xyz summon it with 2 monsters, you attach the top 3, hopefully only getting like 1 or 2 monsters attached to it, then immediately give control to your opponent, and their standby phase, they then have to attach the top 3 to it. If they get more monsters, then they take 400 damage for each material and lose all the monsters they currently control. It's a real meme card, but I could see it having some really hilarious potential. Another card confirmed for Promotion Pack 24 is a quick play spell called Life Hack. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Target one face-up monster on the field. Until the end of this turn, its attack becomes your opponent's current life points. Also, any damage they take is halved. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. Until the end of this turn, its attack becomes your current life points. Also, any damage your opponent takes is halved. So I could see a meme with this as well, using some cards to gain your opponent life points. Then you slap this down, make your monster have attack equal to half, and attack them for still quite massive damage, even though the damage that they take is half. So I could see this being abused in weird decks as well. There's also a normal trap card called Heaps of Beasts. Change all monsters on the field that were not normal or special summon this turn to defense position. Also, this turn, neither player can declare an attack with a monster normal or special summoned this turn while they control a defense position monster. So it's just kind of a stun card, effectively. I could see this kind of being played in sort of anti-meta stun decks as well, but I think the other two are a lot more memey. Next up we have a new archetype being released in Legacy of Destruction, which is the next core set after Phantom Nightmare. This will be coming out for us probably around May, potentially next year. For the OCG, it's coming out, I think, at the start of 2024. And these dragons are the reason why Trident Dragon has skyrocketed in value, if you've seen that over the last couple of days. We have Tempai Dragon by Dora, which is a level 3 fire dragon, 1700 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take one Sangen spell or trap from your deck and either add it to your hand or set it. You take no battle damage from battles involving your fire dragon monsters, and once per turn during the battle phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. Then we have Tempai Dragon Fedora, which is a level 3 fire dragon, 1600 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn if it's normal or special summoned, or at the start of the damage step if a monster battles. You can target one level 4 or lower fire dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Your fire dragon monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, and once per turn during the battle phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. And the last main deck monster is Tempai Dragon Zongdora. It's a level 4 fire dragon tuner effect monster, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. You can use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you control a fire dragon monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. At the start of the damage step, if a monster battles, you can special summon one level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck, except itself. And once per turn during the battle phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. So they all have the battle phase synchro summon effect. Now, what are they going to synchro summon? Well, we have Sangen Rise Dragon Biden Dragion, which is Fire Dragon Synchro Tuner, level 7, 2600 attack, 2000 defense, requires one Dragon Tuner and one non-tuner dragon monster. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per duel. First effect, if this card is synchro summoned, you can target one Fire Dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except dragon monsters. If 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then you can destroy one spell or trap card on the field. Then we have Sangen Super Dragon Transcend Dragion, which is level 10 Fire Dragon Synchro, 3000 attack, 3000 defense, requires one Dragon Tuner or one or more non-tuner dragon monsters. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per duel. If this card is synchro summoned, you can change all monsters on the field to attack position. All opponent's monsters must attack if able. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the battle phase. If 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then you can destroy one card on the field. So similar graveyard recursion, it just pops a card rather than a spell or trap. They also have the field spell Brimming Sangen Mana. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Fire dragon monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects during your main phase. During your main phase, you can add one bestowed dragon monster from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. If this card is destroyed during the battle phase, you can target one dragon synchro monster you control. Its attack becomes doubled. So if we bring that first synchro back and pop the field spell, it gets double its attack. Not too bad. We also have Sangen Kaimen, which is a quick play spell. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If this card was activated outside the battle phase, apply one of these effects. If it was activated during the battle phase, you can apply any of them in sequence. Add one level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Special summon one fire dragon monster from your hand. So if it's activated in the battle phase, you can just add something and then immediately special summon it. Otherwise, it's still just a generic searcher, which you can chain to things as well, which is really nice. There's also new Melodious support, so this is going to be a bit of a long one while we read all these effects. We have 5 new cards for them. We have Refrain the Melodious Songstress. It's a level 4 light fairy pendulum, 1600 attack, 800 defense. It's pendulum scale 1. Pendulum effect, you can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. You can target one Melodious fusion monster you control, send one Melodious monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to the sent monster's level times 200 until the end of this turn. The monster effect, you can only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Melodious monster from your deck to your hand, except Refrain the Melodious Songstress. If a Melodious fusion monster is special summoned to your field while this card is face up in your extra deck, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. Next is Couplet the Melodious Songstress, level 5 light fairy pendulum monster, 1200 attack, 2000 defense, pendulum scale 9. Pendulum effect, you can only use the second pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except light monsters. This effect cannot be negated. If you control no face-up non-melodious monsters, you can add one Melodious spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Monster effect, you can only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it for your normal draw, you can reveal it, special summon one level 4 or lower Melodious monster from your hand or graveyard. If a Melodious fusion monster is special summoned to your field while this card is face up in your extra deck, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. For the fusions, we have Spectacular Bark, the Melodious Maestra. Level 7 Light Fairy Fusion, 2500 attack, 1800 defense, requires 2 Melodious monsters. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 Melodious monster from your deck. Your Melodious Fusion monster's activated effects cannot be negated while you control this fusion summon card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Melodious monster in your graveyard, except Barker the Melodious Maestra, and special summon it in defense position. The other new fusion monster is Flowering Etoile. I think that's how you say it, Etoile? Flowering Etoile, the Melodious Floral Song Goddess, or the Melodious Grand Choir, one of the two. The translation is still pending. Level 8 Light Fairy Fusion, 2800 attack, 1500 defense, requires 1 Melodious Maestro monster and 2 Melodious monsters. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. Quick effect, you can banish any number of Melodious monsters you control until the end phase, then you can return up to that many face-up cards your opponent controls to the hand. If this fusion summoned card on its owner's possession leaves the field by your opponent, you can special summon 1 Melodious monster from your deck or extra deck except itself. They also get a new normal spell card called Melodious Concerto. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Fusion summon 1 Fairy Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, field, and or Pendulum zone as material. If a Melodious Fusion monster is sent to the graveyard while this card is there, even during the damage step, you can place this card on the bottom of the deck and draw 1 card. We also have a new card in the Century Duelist Box. It's called Full Armored Utopic Ray Lancer. It's a Water Beast Warrior Xyz monster. Rank 4, 2500 attack, 600 defense, requires 3 level 4 monsters. Once per turn, you can Xyz summon Full Armored Utopic Ray Lancer by discarding 1 spell or trap and using 1 rank 4 or lower Xyz monster you control, transfer its materials to this card. Monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack. Once per battle phase, at the start of the battle phase, you can negate the effects of all attack position monsters your opponent currently controls. When this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can detach 1 material from this card. It can make a second attack in a row. As I was editing this video, there was the live stream in Japan where they announced new Ancient Gear support, new Lightsworn support, and a retrain of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Let's get into it. I'm going to go through these quickly because it's already been a reasonably long video. So, new Ancient Gears. Ancient Gear Dark Golem, level 8 Earth Machine effect monster, 3000 attack, 3000 defense. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. This card's name becomes Ancient Gear Golem while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate this effect. You cannot set cards for the rest of this turn. Also add up to 2 Ancient Gear cards and or Gear Town from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Gear Dark Golem, then discard 1 card. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Then there's Ancient Gear Tanker, a level 4 Earth Machine effect, 1300 attack, 1300 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your hand except itself, ignoring its summoning conditions, or if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon it from your graveyard instead. You can target 1 face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do for the rest of this turn, all monsters you control that are Ancient Gear Golem or mention it gain 600 attack. Next, there's Ancient Gear Commander, which is a level 4 Earth Machine, 500 attack, 2000 defense. You can use the first, second, and third of this effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can send 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your hand, deck, or face-up field to the graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Ancient Gear monster. If you normal or special summon Ancient Gear Golem, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your hand or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. If you can banish this card from your graveyard, place 1 Ancient Gear Continuous Trap from your hand face-up on your field. They also have a continuous spell, Ancient Gear Advance. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. You cannot set cards the turn you activate this card. When this card resolves, you can add 1 Ancient Gear spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except itself. Once per turn, you contribute 1 monster, draw 1 card, and if you do until the end of this turn, you can normal summon level 5 or higher monsters that are Ancient Gear Golem or mention it without tributing. And a continuous trap, we have Ancient Gear Duel. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Monsters you control that are Ancient Gear Golem or mention it are unaffected by your opponent's activated monster effects. Your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon 1 fusion monster that mentions Ancient Gear Golem from your extra deck by banishing materials mentioned it from your field or graveyard, including Ancient Gear Golem you control, and if you do, it can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase. And for Lightsworn support, we have Dragon of the Lightsworn, which is a level 4 Light Dragon effect monster, 1500 attack, 1300 defense. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you have a Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can send 1 Lightsworn card from your deck to the graveyard, except itself. And if its card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Dragon monster with 3000 attack, 2600 defense from your deck to your hand. JD anyone. Then we have Lice, Lightsworn Archfiend, level 4 Light Fiend Tuner, attack 0, 1700 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can place one other Lightsworn card from your hand on top of the deck, special summon this card from your hand, then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can target one Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, except itself, and special summon it. Then we have Enlightenment Dragon. It's a level 10 Light Dragon fusion, 3000 attack, 3000 defense, requires Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragon. Must be special summoned by banishing the above cards from your field and graveyard, one from each. Once per turn, quick effect, you can pay 2000 life points, banish all other cards on the field and in the graveyards. Once per turn during the end phase, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. If this card is destroyed by your opponent, you can add one of each of your banished Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragon to your hand, then you can special summon both, ignoring their summoning conditions. There's also a new Synchro, Minerva Lightsworn Athena, level 8 Light Fairy Synchro, 2800 attack, 1800 defense, requires 1 tuner and 1 plus non-tuner monsters. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as material for this card's summon. Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects. You can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from your graveyard, send that many cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. And finally they have Lightsworn Aegis, which is a normal trap card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Lightsworn monsters you control. Negate their effects until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can set it. And from Century Duelist Box we have Dragon Magia Master, which is actually a Dragon Master Knight retrain potentially, not a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon like I said earlier. It is a Light Dragon fusion monster, 5000 attack, 4000 defense, level 12, requires Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or 3 Blue Eyes monsters, plus 1 Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. Must be fusion summoned. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only activate this effect of this card's name in response to each card type, monster, spell, trap, once per turn. If this face-up card leaves the field by your opponent, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster or 1 Chaos ritual monster or 1 Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your graveyard or extra deck. Alrighty, for our deck gallery this week, there's actually quite a few decks because there's been a few tournaments, and particularly YCS Bologna, so of course first up we have to just make mention to Joshua Schmidt's Bystial Runick deck, which is really quite interesting. I don't think it's something that particularly too many people saw coming, and he just managed to catch that lightning in the bottle. Of course, he's a very good Runick player anyway, so I'm sure you've seen the list a million times, but there it is. Also making a top at YCS Bologna was Marincess, piloted by Christian Masic, made top 64. I think he made 64th place with Marincess, and we covered a Marincess deck list a couple of weeks ago, so really cool to see it's still able to get those tops. Then there is top 4 at the New York Regional, piloted by Eric Sanzone. It is Generaider, which is not a deck that we've covered yet, and not a deck that I think I've ever played against, so it's really cool to see something else new getting a top. What a diverse format we have at the moment, it's really enjoyable. Then top 8 at Mar del Plata Regional in Argentina, we have Blackwings, piloted by Alfredo Ramos, and who would have thought? Like, it's a really cool Blackwing deck. Obviously, Blackwing is kind of a combo deck now, not so much a control deck like back in the day. But yeah, it's really interesting to see Blackwings topping. There was also a Blackwing top at the Trujillo Regional by Adriel Garcia. This one is like a Blackwing Bystial deck. Similar kind of concept. It still plays Assault Synchron as well. So could there be something here with Blackwings? That's kind of cool to see 2 tops in 1 week. There's also another Virtual World top as well, piloted by Cyrene Rassi, got 2nd place at the Side Deck Gaming Cafe Remote Regional. We also saw Virtual World top a couple of weeks ago as well, so another top for them in this format, looking good. Top 4 at Arapiraca Regional from Brazil, Enoke C managed to get Abyss Actors across the line. Now this is not something that we've seen before, or at least while we've been doing YugiNews, particularly covering this format. Yeah, really cool to see another rogue deck getting that top success. And at the same tournament, piloted by Faulkner Louise, we have Supreme King Pendulum Magicians, another really unique deck. well, I say unique in that it's not meta, it's another rogue deck. Really cool to see, again, another deck that I don't really know much about as is kind of a theme. But yeah, really cool to see, and great job to all of these duelists piloting their rogue decks to success this week. And that'll do it for us this week in YugiNews. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss out on our weekly news videos. I will be taking 2 weeks off for the Christmas New Year break, so I will see all of you duelists rested up and fresh for 2024. I'll see you in the next video.